When going on a Disney World vacation, there's so much planning and prepping and money that goes into your trip that you're going to want to make sure that you are making the most of your time that you have when you are on your vacation or when you are actually in the parks. And I know that if it's your first time going to Disney World or your first time in a while going to Disney World, there's definitely a lot of mistakes that can be made that can take away some time that you have in the parks. I know that I have made some mistakes in the past. I've seen a lot of guests make some mistakes in the past. But if you are planning a trip to Disney World anytime soon, I want to help you to keep from making any mistakes that could potentially waste some time in the Disney parks. So that's why today, for our live stream topic, I want to talk about 5 mistakes that will waste your time at Disney World. Sounds like a very intense topic, but it's definitely one that is very important. I know one thing that I really try to emphasize here on the channel is helping you make the most of your time when you are in the Disney parks. And like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've seen a lot of different park guests make some mistakes that can potentially lead to wasted time that you have in the park. So we want to definitely avoid that from happening. So that's why we are going to get right on into these 5 things that will keep you from wasting time when you are at Disney World. But before we get on into our topic, I definitely want to say thank you so much to everyone that is watching either here on the live or if you are here on Team Replay. Thank you so much for watching this video. This video is a part of our weekly live stream series that usually happens at 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you're watching here on the live stream today, you know that it is 3 p.m. So it's definitely a little bit early compared to what we are usually doing for the live stream. So thank you guys for being here live and kind of being here with my adjusted schedule. So, but yes, thank you for watching on the replay or here on the live stream. Before we hop into it as well, I definitely want to say hello to everyone that is here live in the chat. So let me scroll up here real quick. Hey, not Carol Pink, thanks so much for being here live. And Deuce, I loved your comment. Thank you for being here so much as well. And thank you, Carol, for the compliment on the mini ears. I was thinking since we're back here in Western PA, we kind of got to go with the farm theme here. So, but thank you guys for being here live. Thanks for watching on the replay. I'm very excited to get into these 5 tips. I do want to say as well, when it comes to doing these live streams, they're definitely here to help you guys on your Disney vacation. And if you have any questions, whether it's related to the topic or different as far as Disney park tips go or questions go, definitely feel free to put them in the chat. I know I've got some other Disney park lovers that are in the chat that would be happy to help you out. Or at the end of the stream, I'm definitely happy to help answer any questions that you may have. So feel free to put those in there. I'm going to go through the 5 mistakes here. And then after each mistake, I'll definitely hop in the chat and see what you guys are saying. But before we get into my tips, I see here that Doofs have or not necessarily a tip, but mistakes. But I see Doofs have something here. Number 1, walking behind slow people who do not know where they are going. Yes, that definitely is a thing. Sometimes you can get stuck behind some park guests that are either wandering around or everybody in their party seems to be walking in a straight line or, in a line that it can kind of block your way getting around the park. So definitely learn how to maneuver your way through the crowds at Disney World. That can help you get to where you want to go whenever you are at the park. So I like that first thing for sure. That is really funny, Deuce. So that's definitely a thing though. I've definitely experienced it and seen it happen to people. So the first thing we're going to hop into, the first mistake that I see people waste a lot of time whenever it comes to going to Disney World, or that I have had experiences with. And these are all things that, like I said, I've had experiences with as well. And I want to help you learn from my mistakes and other Disney park guests' mistakes. So first thing here is going through security. So when you're going to Disney World, the one thing that every park guest has to do is to go through security before you actually get into the parks. And this is a great thing to help keep the park safe, but it is definitely a pain point or a sticking point that can lead to some wasted time during your park days, which is what we want to avoid. So whenever going through security at Disney World, everyone has to go walk through these standing metal detectors. So you walk through the metal detectors, and if anything is set off at any point in time, you either have to go and have your bag checked, or you have to kind of have your body scanned to see if there's anything on your person that maybe set off the metal detector. But the thing about going through security that can waste time is is exactly that, either the bag check or having to go through the body scan. Whenever the parks are opening, of course, there's a ton of people trying to go to either rope drop or try to get into the parks to start their day. And long lines can form for these bag checks. I know when I was going during the summertime, there were huge lines for people getting their strollers checked, their bags checked. And this is definitely something that can waste time as far as the beginning of your park day goes, or just at any point in time during your park day. So I do have some tips for you as far as going through security, and something that has helped me out a lot when going through security. I have almost never had my bag checked recently because of these things that I do. So there are some common items that usually set off the metal detectors. So, eyeglasses cases are huge things that set off the metal detectors. Sometimes I usually wear contacts when I go to the Disney parks, but I will bring my glasses in case anything happens with my contacts. And my eyeglasses case, whenever I was trying to figure out what was setting off the metal detector, that was always what was setting it off. So I always take that out when going through the metal detectors. Umbrellas are a huge thing that set off the metal detectors. I take that out of my bag. And portable chargers are also a huge thing that can set off the metal detectors. So I should have said before, but whenever you're going through the metal detectors, one thing that can help keep from having it set off is to take any of these items out and to hold them in front of yourself and walk through the detector. So a lot of times it may set off the metal detector, but the person looking at the screen, watching everybody go through, will be able to just see in your hands what you are holding, and then they will allow you to go through and you don't have to get your bag checked. Now, if there is anything else that's in your bag that might set it off, maybe you'll still have to go through the bag checks. But this has been a great thing for me that I just take out my eyeglasses case, my umbrella, portable charger, and usually I am good to go and I don't have to wait in the line to have my bag checked, because they can get very long, which can definitely cut into some of your park time. So I have seen, you guys may know that I bring lounge flies when going to the Disney parks. I know they're a very popular bag when going to Disney World. And at times, people were saying that the plaques, the metal plaques on the lounge flies, can set off the detectors. In the past, I haven't really had an issue with that. Maybe it just depends on the bag. Sometimes the detectors go off, and even the, people looking at the detectors don't really know why it went off. So it's definitely not a guaranteed thing that you won't have to go through the bag check, but it's definitely just something that will help you to maybe minimize the amount of time that you have to go through security. So that is my tip as far as going through security. Just keep in mind any items that are in your bag that maybe might set off the detectors. I know when I am packing my Disney park bag, I always like keeping those items on the top of my bag so I can easily take them out, walk through security, and then put them back in and just go about my day. I do bring my big camera for vlogging. A lot of times that is something that will also set off the detector. Keys haven't really been an issue in the past, but just to be better safe than sorry, you can take those out as well, and then walk right through. So those are all things, tips that I have as far as going through security. I know I have had to go through the bag check. It has taken a little bit of time. I've seen other park guests that have to go through it. So definitely just something to keep in mind as far as security goes and kind of wasting some time at Disney World. But let's see what you guys have to say. So yeah, Deuce, exactly. Hold a metal object out as far in front of you and keep your backpack behind you. Otherwise, they have to check everything. Exactly. Yeah. If you keep it right close to your person, I know whenever I went recently with my mom, I had told her to take everything out, and I failed to tell her to hold it way out far in front of her, and she still had to go through the bag check. So that was definitely on me. But yes, hold it as far away from you as you can, so that way you don't have to go through the actual bag check. But let's see. Okay, so this is interesting. So glance at their screen. It's pretty high tech. The circles are around all the metal objects. So maybe that's something that you could even look at to see if it's maybe something that went off on your bag, trying to figure out what it was that actually set it off. They'll tell you too, that's how I figured out that it was my eyeglasses case, that umbrellas were a huge thing that sets them off. They'll kind of tell you what actually set it off, so that way for future going into security that you can take it out. So yeah, definitely a good tip there, Deuce. I like that for sure. So the second thing here that can waste some time is eating during the meal rushes. So If you aren't planning on bringing snacks or, meals with you to the Disney parks, of course, you're probably going to want to grab a bite to eat when you are at the Disney parks. And very popular places to go are the quick service restaurants at the parks. But one thing that you won't want to do is eat during the meal rushes in the parks. This is a very popular time that everybody's trying to go and get a bite to eat. So the times that I definitely don't recommend going are right at 12 o'clock or noon, and around 5 p.m. is a very busy time to eat at Disney World. If I go to eat it in the parks, I really like going around 11 o'clock. Sometimes that's when the quick service restaurants are actually opening. So that's a very nice way to just kind of go right on in when it's not that busy. And then early afternoon is also a very good time as well. And then after around probably 6 p.m. is a great time to eat if you are planning on getting a bite to eat at some of the quick service restaurants. But the reason why I say this too is because if you are ordering food and you have to wait in line, lines can get very long. I know one place that really stands out to me is the Connections Cafe at Epcot. Lines can get very long for trying to get food there. It's a kind of a popular place to get quick service food at Disney World now. And another thing is, whenever you are actually going to eat there, maybe during the peak times, is it's very hard to actually find a place to eat your food. So when you go and you purchase and potentially spend a lot of money on Disney park food, the last thing you'd want is to try to run around and try to figure out where you want to sit when there's not a lot of tables available, risk having your food go cold, and then that is just not something you want to mess around with. And especially hanger at Disney World, when your kids are probably hungry and you're frustrated trying to figure out where to sit, that's not something you really want to deal with. So I definitely recommend trying to budget time and either eat before or after the meal rushes, so that way you don't have to wait a lot of time to either order your food, get your food, or try to find a place to sit, because it can get very hectic and chaotic during those times. So excuse me. So Doofs here, you were saying, yeah, great tip, thank you. And wait until after about 2 p.m. to eat. Yeah, I've seen around 3 p.m. is a really good time. Sometimes you go in there and it can be very relaxing too around, after the meal rushes. You can get a good AC break, kind of sit down, recharge with your family, enjoy the atmosphere, and not have a lot of, hectic things going on around you. So that's definitely what I recommend. And another thing that comes with eating at Disney World that can help save you some time, or I guess waste time here as far as my topic goes, is not using mobile ordering. So one very handy thing that not a lot of people know about is that you can actually mobile order food at the Disney park. So on the My Disney Experience app, I should have pulled it up here to show you guys what it looks like. But some of the quick service restaurants at the Disney parks actually allow you to do mobile ordering. So you can go on the app and you can choose what quick service restaurant you're wanting to go to. A lot of times they have different time slots that show you when exactly you can go and pick up your food, which is a great budgeting hack or a budgeting thing that you can use when in the park, so you know exactly when you can go and pick up your food. But the really great thing about this is you don't have to wait in the long lines to order food. So you can just go on there, figure out what everybody wants to eat, place your order, and then whenever you are actually at the quick service restaurant, you can say, I'm here, they'll prepare your food, and you just have to wait until they are put it out for you to go and get. So this is a very handy thing. It helps save you time that you don't have to wait in line to actually go and order your food. You can just have everything all figured out. It's also something, if you know where you want to eat or what time you want to eat, it can help you to maybe get into a ride if you know how long the wait time is estimated to be. So that way, right when you get off the ride, you can go ahead and get the food that you had ordered. So that's kind of a budgeting thing if you want to really maximize the time that you have in the park. So I know I have loved using mobile ordering. It has definitely saved me a lot of times, whatever in the park. Some people know about it, but not necessarily a lot of people. Another thing I will say is another way to save some time is with the mobile ordering, or the features that you can use on the My Disney Experience app, is definitely have a payment method already into the app before even going to the Disney parks. I know a lot of people back when, after the pandemic had happened and the parks were reopening, mobile ordering was the only thing that you could do. And people were kind of scrambling, trying to figure out how it works, trying to get a payment method in, and that can just kind of cause a lot of craziness and waste some time when you're going to the park. So go ahead and when you download the app and you create an account, go ahead and just put a payment method in there so that way you don't even have to worry about it when you go to order food at the park. So that's my 2 cents on mobile ordering. I've loved it. It saves a lot of time and it kind of helps you just figure out where you want to eat and budget some time whenever you are going to eat in the parks. So let's see here. So Janelle, you're saying so do some of the major restaurants and the hotels. They allow more mobile ordering as well, and that is huge too. Yeah, the hotels, that is really perfect. That's perfect if you are just having a relaxing day in the parks. And I didn't actually know that most of the restaurants do as well. I don't think I knew that, so that is definitely something handy as well. Yeah, Doofs, you've definitely been taking advantage of the mobile ordering. It's just a great thing. It just kind of takes down the amount of hecticness and waiting in lines. I mean, we're already waiting in enough lines at Disney World, so it cuts down on your amount of time waiting in lines at Disney World. So definitely take advantage of mobile ordering. And let's see, Deuce, you also have another one. However, take a look at the line before more mobile ordering because sometimes the times aren't available until much later. Oh, that's actually a good tip too, Deuce. Okay, yeah, so I know if you see my videos before, you know I really like packing snacks, and sometimes I don't necessarily eat a lot in the parks, but Doofs, this is a great tip. So what the Doofs are saying is on the mobile or on, yeah, when you mobile order for some of the quick service restaurants, maybe the time slot that you are wanting to go eat isn't available because they may be already taken. But what the Doofs are saying is if you know where you want to eat, if the time slot isn't available for mobile ordering, go ahead and go in there, see how long the lines are, because you may be able to just wait in line very quickly and get the food that you want at the time that you want if the time slot isn't available. So hopefully that explanation makes sense. But Deuce, that is a really good point, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I actually didn't think about that. So that's a very good point. And another tip here from the Doofs are gift cards must be entered every time you want to use them with mobile ordering. Okay, the app won't save it. So that's a good thing to note as far as gift cards go, because that's another thing that I recommend if you want to go on your trip. That's a way to save some money if you go to Sam's Club or you go to Target and you get gift cards ahead of time. This is a good thing to note. So that way, if you want to use your gift cards, you know that they don't save it in the app. So that is a good thing to note, Deuce. Thank you for that. I didn't realize that. So that's a good tip. So that is some of the things as far as mobile ordering, but we're going to get into another feature on the My Disney Experience app that honestly I really enjoy as well. And not using mobile checkout is another way to waste some time in the park. So, of course, when you're going to Disney World, you're probably going to want to do some shopping. You're probably going to want to get some souvenirs from your trip. And there's a lot of stores that are at the Disney parks. Not all of them have this mobile checkout feature, which essentially on the My Disney Experience app, you can go and you can scan the barcodes of all of the items that you're wanting to purchase, and you can check them out and you can purchase them very easily without waiting in line at the actual stores. So I know the Emporium has mobile checkout. The Creation Shop at Epcot has mobile checkout. Definitely let me know in here if anybody else remembers or knows any of the other stores that do the mobile checkouts in the Disney parks. I'm trying to think where Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom do it, but it's mainly more of the bigger stores that are in the Disney parks. But they have this mobile checkout feature where you can check out on the app. It's very helpful if you have your payment info already in there so you can very easily check out. But lines, especially in the Emporium, lines can get very long to actually check out items whenever you're shopping in the parks. So what I really like to do is use this mobile checkout. It is so handy. All you have to do is just scan the barcodes. It lists all of the items you're wanting to purchase. And if you are an annual pass holder, as long as you are purchasing or doing it on the account that is linked to your annual pass, you get the annual pass discount as well, which is so handy, so helpful to help you save some time. So once you check out, it will give you a little barcode or a little QR code, and you go up to the mobile checkout little booth that is at some of the exits of the stores. You show a cast member, they'll see that you had purchased the items, and then you can just go about your day and you can leave and you don't have to wait in long lines to actually check out in the store. So this is something that I have loved using. I've picked up some items for some friends, or I've done some shopping myself, and this has been so handy to just help me to get in and kind of get out and going about my day in the park. So hopefully you can take advantage of some of these tips whenever it comes to using either the mobile checkout or the mobile ordering. There's a lot of features on the My Disney Experience app that can really help you with your Disney park visit. Honestly, I should just do a whole live stream about the My Disney Experience app because there's so many features that I absolutely love about it. So that might be, maybe that would be next year or next week's stream. So definitely take advantage of those. But let's hop in the chat here really quick. Oh, I'm assuming you mean Woody's Lunchbox is one of the ones where you want to get an early window because you could miss out if not paying attention. Yes, Woody's Lunchbox, that's in Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios. Very popular place to eat. Anything in Toy Story Land is very, very popular. So definitely keep an eye on that for sure, because that's, if you're wanting to eat there, make sure you're keeping an eye on that so that way you don't miss out on it for sure. So yeah, thank you, Janelle. That's a very good tip for sure. Same gift card problem with mobile checkout. So good to know if you are wanting to use gift cards for your mobile checkout at the stores, definitely keep in mind that you'll have to re-enter them. So that is a good thing to note. Thank you, Doofs. And yes, I know you mentioned this before, Doofs, and I'm glad you brought this up. Be aware of shelf prices because prices on mobile order do not always match the mobile price. So good to note if you are doing your mobile checkout, whenever you scan the item, maybe double check on the actual tag that the items or that the prices actually match up. So that way you aren't either overpaying for your items. So great tip, Deuce. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. And Janelle, okay, so none in Hollywood or Animal Kingdom. Good to note. So I guess there are not any mobile checkouts in Hollywood or Animal Kingdom. But yes, Janelle, thank you. That's what I was thinking of. The World of Disney store in Disney Springs does have the mobile checkout. So if there's any place that you want to use it, it's probably the World of Disney store in Disney Springs. It can get so chaotic and hectic in that store. Lines can definitely get long, and that's a great place to just go ahead, scan all your items, and kind of get going about your day. So yeah, thank you, Janelle. I forgot about that place. That is definitely a good place to use it for sure. And I saved this one for last because it's probably one that I might talk about the most. And the thing that I see a lot of guests really waste a lot of time when going to the Disney parks is not knowing exactly how to properly use Disney transportation. So I love Disney transportation. It's so nice because it really helps you to get around the Disney parks, and Disney World is very, very big, and there's a lot of places that you can go and visit when you're on your trip. There are Disney buses, there's water taxis, there's the monorail, there's the Skyliner. You can use the minivan, which is like Disney's own version of Uber or Lyft, if you will. You can use Ubers and Lyfts. But the nice thing is Disney transportation is so helpful as long as you know how to use it. But the thing that I see a lot of guests do is they don't actually know where they are needing to go when they are at Disney World. So one thing that you can waste a lot of time on is not knowing exactly where you need to go whenever you're at the park. So say you are at your hotel, there may be multiple forms of transportation that you can take advantage of to get to where you're wanting to go. And some of the hotels maybe only have one form of transportation. Other of the resorts maybe have more than one, but it's really good to know ahead of time the best way to get to where you're wanting to go. So this was very wordy, but so say you were staying at, the Contemporary Resort or the Grand Floridian. The nice thing is it has access to the monorail, which can take you to Magic Kingdom and to Epcot. If you're staying at some of these Skyliner resorts, you can take advantage of the Skyliner to get you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So there's definitely multiple ways that can get you all around the Disney parks. And what I recommend is definitely look ahead of time if you know where you're going on your visit, or if you have a dining reservation that maybe you are at the parks and you need to go to Disney Springs. It's really good to know ahead of time how to get where to go or how to get from where you are to where you need to go. So I know as far as dining reservations go, if you don't actually make your dining reservation, you will have to pay a fee if you don't actually make it. So Disney transportation is really great. Sometimes it can be a little bit unreliable. I don't like to use that word, but sometimes there can be a little hiccups with it. Maybe one form of transportation goes down and you can't use it anymore. For example, if you are relying on the Skyliner, sometimes when there's lightning in the area or there's an intense thunderstorm, the Skyliner will actually shut down. So from that standpoint, after the Skyliner shuts down, you'll kind of have to figure out and have a plan B for what you want to use as far as Disney transportation goes. So there's definitely a lot of things that go into Disney transportation. I do have a full length video about how to use Disney transportation or all the forms and kind of how you can use it. If you want to check that out, if you know where you're going on your Disney trip and how you want to use it or want to learn how to use it, you can definitely check out that video. But my biggest tip is definitely if you know where you're wanting to go, look a little bit into ahead of time, do some planning and figure out how to best use Disney transportation, especially if you are doing park hopping. It's really nice because Disney transportation can conveniently get you from park to park, but you can waste a lot of time if you don't know exactly how to get to where you're wanting to go. So definitely just look into Disney transportation ahead of time. This can help save you a ton of time so you can make the most of your time when you're in the parks or when you are on Disney property in general. So that's my little 2 cents about Disney transportation. It's very helpful. I love using it, but it's good to know how to use it so that way you can take the most advantage of it for sure. So, hey, an obsessed Rangers fan, thank you so much for being here. So Dupes, you were saying you do not like the Disney buses. They are so slow. My favorite form of Disney transportation is definitely the Skyliner. It's beautiful. I love the Disney views that you get with it. It's kind of like a theme park ride in itself. It's very nice because it's just a constantly moving form of transportation that you can take. The buses are nice when, you get to them and they're actually there. Sometimes you can wait a long time to actually get the bus that you are wanting to use. It seems like every time I try to go use the Disney buses, the bus that I am wanting to use is not always there. There's always other buses there, if that makes sense. Like I always end up having to wait some time to use the Disney buses, but of course, like every other bus is around me that I don't need. So, yeah, the Disney buses sometimes can take some time. I know if you are at the resorts, they do have kind of like a monitor at the bus stops that tell you when the buses will be getting there. At least one of the resorts that I was at before, when I was doing some resort hopping, they did have kind of a schedule of when the buses were going to be coming. So that can kind of give you an estimated time of when you might be able to get the buses. But let's see, Deuce. You'll wait in line for 60 minutes when you could drive in 10 minutes. So yeah, that's if you are at Disney World and you don't have your own form of transportation, you definitely are at the mercy of Disney transportation. So that's why if you're looking at Disney resorts, it's nice maybe choosing a resort that has multiple forms of Disney transportation. Sometimes that's not always possible, which is why you could always choose to use an Uber or a Lyft for sure to get you around the Disney parks. So yeah, lightning is definitely occurs very frequently at the Disney parks or in Florida in general. So yeah, I love the Skyliner too. It's definitely my favorite form of Disney transportation. I love all of the Skyliner buckets. They're so cute and I just love everything about it for sure. So yeah, thank you, Carol. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, the Skyliner definitely best form of transportation. It's so convenient. The weather is really the only thing that kind of jeopardizes if you can use it or not, but you can use it to do a lot of resort hopping. There's a lot of great resorts that are around the Skyliner loop, and it gets you to and from Epcot and Hollywood Studios, which is really, really nice. So let's see. If you are at a resort and want to get to the parks early, do not take the bus. I have seen long lines form for the buses, and like the Deuce are saying, sometimes it can take a long time for them to come, and you can wait a long time. So maybe if you're staying at a resort that only has access to the buses, maybe that's a day that you want to use an Uber or your own form of transportation. So definitely just keep this in mind. The buses do take a long time. So good tip, Deuce. I do appreciate that. That's a very good point. Let's see. So we got to the bus stop at 7 a.m. one morning and waited until 8:30 and finally have Oh, finally gave up and drove. I got you. Yeah. So that is nice if you have your own form of transportation. It gives you a little bit more flexibility. But if you don't have, access to that, maybe you, like I said, have to have a plan B for sure. It's always good to have a plan B for what you want to use to get around the Disney parks because transportation can definitely eat up some time, especially with what the Deuce are saying here. If you're wanting to do rope drop or get to the parks when they open or one of the first people there, you definitely will want to make sure that you're able to actually get to the parks there. Um, the thing that I didn't mention was, budgeting some time for Disney transportation as far as getting to the parks early. Maybe you want to budget an hour to get to the parks to make sure that you have enough time there. If you are, going to a restaurant reservation, maybe budgeting an hour. I think that's what Disney recommends anyway, is kind of budgeting an hour to actually get to your reservation so that way you don't miss it. So all great tips there. Definitely appreciate that, Deuce. I didn't realize that, but I can definitely see that happening as far as using the buses. So I definitely want to open up to any comments or questions maybe that you guys have as far as, wasting time at Disney World, any of the tips that we talked about here. Feel free to add any comments in the chat or any comments in general whenever it comes to going to Disney World. If you have any upcoming trips, I'd love to help answer any questions that you may have. But as far as our topic here today, these are all things that I have either done myself. I know I've had a lot of times where I've, spent a lot of time in Disney security, as far as, doing the mobile ordering and their mobile checkout. When I've gotten food at the park, sometimes I've gone at the wrong time and I've been waiting to try to figure out a place to go and eat, maybe tables weren't available. So I definitely just recommend, as far as, all of these tips, either just keep in mind there might take some time, or some things might take more time than others when you're in the parks. So doing some planning ahead of time and just keeping all these things in mind can help you to maximize the time that you have in the parks. So not Carol Pink, I want to bring your comment up here. Thank you, Megan, for posting the video on the clothes from Target a few days and weeks ago. I actually was able to find and buy the Sunnyside Daycare shirt and one of the Hello Kitty shirts. That is awesome. I love that. So, of course, some of you guys probably know I did move from Florida back here to Western PA, so I'm no longer very close to the Disney parks, but I definitely like to do merch videos. And one thing I've done recently is I've kind of gone to a lot of the stores that are in my area and look for Disney finds. And one thing that not Carol Pink here is bringing up is I went to Target the other day to look at all of the Disney and Universal shirts that they have. So, of course, when you go to the Disney parks, you can get Disney shirts. They might be a little bit more expensive, but there's actually really great finds at like Target. TJ Maxx has a lot of great Disney finds. And what Carol is mentioning here is they had really cute Toy Story shirts at Target. So you can definitely go and check out that short. Carol, I am so glad that you got that shirt. It was so cute when I had never seen anything like it. So that was definitely cool to see. And the Hello Kitty shirts were so cool and perfect for Universal. So I'm glad you were able to go and pick that up. That's awesome. Thank you for letting me know. I love that. That's perfect. So let's see. Do you know if there are ways to have rooms close together when booking, have been booked separately? So that's interesting, Carrie. And Doofs, okay, yes, Doofs, I was going to ask if you would chime in here for sure. You can request specific rooms or building locations, but it's rare that they accommodate the request. Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. A lot of times if you call, Disney guest services or customer service, sometimes you can call and tell them. And like the Doof said, you can request a certain wing or a certain place at your resort. You could probably bring it up to them that there are two separate reservations and you'd like to have them close together. And they will, sometimes try as hard as they can to actually do that. But like the Doof said, sometimes they can't always accommodate all of the requests. So I guess what I would recommend here is just give them a call, see if they can do anything about it. Maybe they'll have it on record so that way they can try to get something close for you guys. But just know that it's maybe not going to be guaranteed if you are wanting to have that happen. So definitely, yeah, thank you, Deuce, for that input. And yeah, Carrie, I hope you have an awesome time on your trip whenever that may be. So yeah, so and awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mark. Thank you for watching. So that is all that I have as far as saving time at Disney World goes, or things that can waste your time at the Disney parks. I want to let's see, bring this up real quick from the doofs. Maybe 1 and 3, just call and have them notated on your account. Gotcha. Yeah, perfect, doofs. Thank you. So, yeah, so like I said, that's what we have as far as our topic goes here today. I'm very passionate about helping you make the most of your time when you're at the Disney parks. This is one thing that I really like talking about, is just helping you save some time so you can make the most of your time in the parks. These are some mistakes I have made or I've seen Disney park guests make. So, hope you guys enjoyed these tips today. Like I said, this video is a part of our weekly live stream series that happens on the channel. We talk about Disney park tips, Disney park news, all things that will help you on your upcoming Disney vacation. And these videos usually happen at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesdays. Today, if you're watching live, this is a different time because we had to adjust the schedule for today. And I will note that next week, let me pull up what the date actually is. September 28th is also going to be an adjusted time. We are going to be heading on an adventure that I'm excited to bring you guys along with. I'll go ahead and share it with you guys, but we are headed to Seattle next week. So definitely not theme park related or Disney related, but I have some Disney related things that we'll be doing over in Seattle, and I'm just excited to bring you on the trip as well. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. We'll have either a live stream next week, or we will have either a full length video. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. So hopefully, like I said, you guys enjoyed these tips today. I enjoyed talking with you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you have any comments or questions in the comments below, and we will talk to you guys in the next video. See you guys.